Hi, I'm Amy Edwards. I'm the director at Elevated Charter School. I wanted to give you just a little information about how our program works for grades 7 through 12. Our program is basically the same model all the way from kindergarten through 12th grade. As students get older, they take on more responsibility for their learning, which also means that our older students have more choices in how they learn and in how they demonstrate their learning, but the model stays the same. So if you've seen the basic info video, a lot of this will sound similar. Some of the key elements of our high school program are that we have projects more than exams. Your student can get all the way through without taking an exam, but by completing a project, and they are choices within those projects. We focus a lot on partnering teachers, parents, and students to personalize learning. We help your student acquire tools for lifelong learning. So, not just memorizing content, but actually learning strategies so that they can then apply them to future learning, careers, life in general. And we facilitate inquiry-based learning so students can explore their own interests while earning high school credit. We really like to emphasize partnering. This is in the other video as well. We want to be involved with your students' learning. That's why we're here and why we created this school. We are here to be a support. We're here to be positive and to personalize to what you need and what your student needs. On our end, we provide a laptop computer, typically a Chromebook. We provide live and offline virtual classes that our teachers either teach live or supervise the offline classes. Students can access teacher support whether they're taking our live classes, offline classes, or doing something alternative. We have in-person activities. We have enrichment or intervention support if your student is struggling academically. We have fantastic special education teachers if your student has an IEP or you need to set one up. We have some clubs that meet virtually. We have a lot of online resources your student will have access to. And then we have a personalized learning budget so that you can personalize the curriculum, the books, the learning materials, the activities that your student does. On your side, we need you to help us by providing a good learning environment during live classes so your student can engage. They are very interactive classes, so we want the students to be engaged. We want you to help your student manage their learning. Even though these are older students, they still need some help with time management and study management. And so we ask the parents to help, and our education coordinators and class teachers are available to provide extra help if needed for your student. We do ask our parents to monitor online usage. The Chromebooks that we provide have a lot of filters in place, but we have had students get around them. And so we always ask parents to be monitoring online usage for the safety of your kids. And finally, for any of our field trips or in-person activities, we don't transport students, so parents will need to transport their students. Or we do have a parent Facebook page, and a lot of parents have connected, and you can just fill out a permission form and have another parent carpool. So here are the courses that the state of Utah requires in grades 7 and 8. They require language arts in each grade level, math, science, U.S. history, and Utah history. And then a choice of any of the ones below: health education, college and career awareness, digital literacy, the arts, physical education. We combine our seventh and eighth graders, so we don't have English 7 and English 8. We have a literature class or a language arts class that seventh and eighth graders take. Often it's thematic, so you can take it as a seventh grader and then again as an eighth grader. You're going to continue to build those language arts skills, but it's not going to be the same class on repeat. It'll be a different theme, and it's really fun that way. Science classes, we typically have a more traditional middle school science class. For the upcoming year, it will be chemistry. We also have what's called an EduLARP class where it's like role playing and there's a story involved and as you're learning the science. This upcoming year, we will be offering Utah history, but if you have already learned Utah history, you are welcome to do US history on your own, and we can help you out with that. We can take personal interests, hobbies, things that your student is already learning and give them credit for that in the academic setting. So we can list music if your student is playing an instrument and taking music lessons. And then what we do is we collect like a log or some kind of sample. I love videos of students playing music about every 6 school weeks to just document that we are aware of that learning and that progress. So it's kind of nice that we can take activities they're already engaged in and add that to their academic credit. A question I get often is about earning high school credit before a student is enrolled in grade 9. It is possible, but I want parents and students to be aware of the limitations to that. So, first of all, it's only available for math courses and world language courses. And so it has to be one of those subjects. The student has to complete all the requirements for the high school level. If they do that in grade 7 or 8, we can put that on their transcript once they enter grade 9. So, on their report card for 7th or 8th grade, we will provide the course code from the Utah Department of Education that indicates, yes, that was a high school math level class or a high school Spanish class, but we can't put it on their high school transcript until they enter grade 9. If they stay with us for grade 9, then I can guarantee you it will go on their transcript. If they change to a different high school for grade 9, it is up to that school's discretion whether they will recognize that and place that on their high school transcript. So just be aware of that. Also, even though your student may earn high school credit toward graduation before grade 9, many colleges will not count that as meeting college admission requirements. That varies from college to college, so always check that out. Ask our high school counselor, check with a college if you're interested in that college. Just be aware that that can happen. For example, if a college admissions says that they want 3 years of math, they mean 3 years of math at the high school level taken while enrolled in grades 9 through 12. But again, that can vary, so check with your college. This is the required courses for high school graduation. Elevated follows the Utah requirements. They require 24 total credits. Each credit is a year long. So this is about 6 courses a year for 4 years. They are in language arts, math, science, and then you have some choices within science of which areas. Again, if you're looking at college admissions, you're going to want to look at what does the college want to see. Social studies, they do require world history and geography. We teach that together. U.S. history and then U.S. government or the U.S. Constitution. Financial literacy, which is only one semester, very valuable life class. Credits in the arts, and your student can pick any visual, dance, theater, any of those arts. Health education, PE, the way we do PE is simply a physical education log that you turn in and just lets us know what activities your student is engaging in. At least 1 credit of CTE, and I'll talk about that in a minute, and just 1 semester of digital studies, which at our school is pretty easy to do. And then to fill out those 24 credits, it's electives. You would meet with a high school counselor and kind of plan what those electives would be based on what the goals are for after high school. Our elevated classes that are available, they meet live online 1 to 2 times a week. So it's not 5 days a week. It's 1 to 2 times a week, either for an hour or for an hour and a half. Depends on the subject, depends on the grade level and the specific class. They are also available in what we call offline classes. The offline classes post the same instructional videos. They're shorter. It's not the recorded live class. It's actually an instructional video that that teacher creates. They post the video, they post the same assignments, the same resources, and so the student can work at a little bit different pacing. They still need to complete the class within the semester and the year, but the exact pacing is a little more flexible. And the dates on the assignments align with the live classes, but there's no penalty for turning something in after or before the date. So just gives you a little more flexibility, or if the live class day and time conflicts with something, you have that option. Something that makes us unique is our classes, even up to high school, we don't use textbooks. The closest we come is probably our math curriculum, but we typically use a homeschool-based curriculum. Or this past year, our math teacher actually created our workbook all herself from scratch. So we don't use, you're not going to get issued a big, giant, heavy history textbook or English textbook. We want our students reading living books, actual novels. We want to teach them how to search safely online for information and to evaluate which information is credible. We want them to engage in experiments and exploring different topics. We provide links to different videos from different sources so students can check those out and get the content that way. Also, other online resources like IXL, Nearpod, things like that. So there's a lot of different ways our students receive the content and the skills instruction also from our teachers, but it won't be in a giant textbook. We want to do some very organic learning here. Our classes are project based, so we don't end our semester with a long midterm or a long final. Students choose a project. They have the projects up front at the beginning of each unit. They have 6 school weeks to decide and prepare which project they want to do. There are always choices. Typically, the choices are different learning modalities. So some will be reading and writing projects, but some will be building something physical, some will be building something digitally, some students do slides presentations, some students create videos. So there's a variety of ways students can demonstrate what they've learned. And teachers are available outside of class for support. So since they only meet 1 or 2 times a week in live instruction, they are available outside of class for students. You can make an appointment and get on a Zoom with them and get clarification on the project assignment or just clarification or extra help on the concepts. So at Elevated, we're big on choices. We want you to be able to earn accredited high school credit that colleges will accept for admissions while still having flexibility and choices. Students can earn high school credit through our classes, either live online or offline. Both of those are monitored and guided by our teachers. Students can complete a course from an accredited outside provider, something like Edgenuity, BYU Online High School. There are other sources that students can use if they're already accredited. That's really easy. We just import the course right into your transcript. One thing that I like about Edgenuity, they offer online classes. They're asynchronous, so they're not live, but we are a competency-based model. And what I like about Edgenuity is that we can do what's called front loading the class, which means at the beginning of each unit topic, the student takes the unit test first. If they score 80% or higher, they go directly to the next unit. They don't have to do all of the little assignments because they've demonstrated they already understand the concept. So that is really nice. I've used that sometimes when students have taken something they're pretty familiar with and they don't want to go through every single little assignment, but they haven't earned the credit for it yet. The other thing that students in grades 7 through 12 can do is called split enrollment. Elevated allows split enrollment. We require a minimum of 75% enrollment in our school, but you can take that other 25% and participate with your local district school or another charter school. This is a nice way for older students to participate in a sport at their local high school, choir, theater, band, take an elective class that they want to take in person. So we are happy to work with other schools that can provide those opportunities that we don't provide as a virtual school so that students can have the best of both worlds. Students can also earn high school credit and college credit through concurrent enrollment. And if you're interested in that for your student, we can get you connected with our high school counselor to learn more about that. The choice that I'm super excited about because it makes Elevated really unique. I have only seen this done in one other high school, and it was the one that I came from in California, and I was the one who implemented it. So it is using a course outline to come to earn high school credit. Course outlines. So, high school courses have a little bit more specific requirements of skills and content than K through 6 courses do. But high school course requirements don't dictate that you have to use specific curriculum or read specific books. There are the traditional books that I'm sure all the parents read when they were in high school, but that's not because that's required to earn the credit. So, what course outlines allow you to do is we've put together course outlines. They are broken into 6 modules. We have 6 learning units. Your student can complete a module every unit of our school, but you can do them in any order. So you don't have to do module 1 in unit 1. If you want to do them out of order, you can. And that's how we fit them to alternative curriculum. Sometimes we fit them to an outside class that's not an accredited source, might be a private vendor. I've even had students do it with their co-op so that we can still meet those high school requirements and give you that course credit on your transcript, but you can do it in a way where you're controlling what they use as resources to learn. For example, in an English class, there might be a unit on narrative fiction, and you need to be able to describe point of view and characters and setting and theme, but there's no requirement of exactly what books you have to read to do that. We can provide suggestions if you need them, but there's no requirement for the specific content. So it gives you some more freedom to earn accredited high school credit while still having that homeschool and personalized feeling of learning based on their interests and their learning styles. So, career training education, also usually called CTE, there are 13 different strands. Utah requires that students take at least 1 year, 2 semesters of CTE. I think this is a great opportunity for students to get a good feel for different types of jobs and if they might be interested in going into one of these fields. CTE classes are typically very application based rather than just learning in theory about what the job is. Students actually have projects. We can connect with other programs where students could even go in person and do these. So if your student is interested in one of these areas, our high school counselor can help connect them to a resource for this. Concurrent enrollment is when a student takes a class that earns both high school credit and college credit. The class is taught at the college level, so it's important that your student is ready for that level of learning and that quantity and of work. And typically, the speed at which the content is taught is quicker than a typical high school class. But for students who are ready for this, this is a great way to be earning some college credits alongside earning your high school credits. We are going to partner with some colleges to facilitate this in the upcoming school year, and we are slowly building toward our own teachers offering some concurrent courses through our live classes just for convenience. But if you would like to explore this, just let us know and we will connect you with our partners. The big thing is to plan ahead. The reason that this is info for 7th grade and up is because the sooner you start thinking about what your student wants to do after high school and start planning for that, the more likely they'll be able to achieve those goals. So, what they want to do after high school will help us plan which courses they should take, which electives they should take. Sometimes it even impacts what extracurriculars and things, activities like that that they do. Do they want to be involved in student leadership? Do they need to do some volunteer work? All of that. We can set them up to be able to achieve those goals they have post high school. If you're already enrolled in Elevated in May, you're going to meet with your education coordinator. And if you have a student going into ninth grade or 10th grade, because we have ninth grade this year, then I will join that meeting to help. I was a high school advisor for several years, so I will be doing that. In August, we will have a full-time high school counselor, and she or he will touch base with all of the students enrolled in high school and work on a 4-year plan. The 4-year plan is always adjustable, but it's nice to just get it started, get it on paper. If anything changes, it's not hard to make an adjustment. We just want to make sure that all of the choices that you and your student are making, you are aware of how that impacts what they are doing in their future. One thing I want to mention, we have a couple of students that this applies to. If your student needs NCAA classes, if your student is planning to play a sport in college that is under NCAA, they must have a high school transcript with specific NCAA courses. Those courses are not just accredited high school courses. Homeschool courses cannot count as NCAA courses. They have some very specific requirements. We can definitely guide you to what NCAA courses are available for your student to make sure you meet those requirements, but we want to know that the earlier the better so that we can make sure they're on track for that. If you have any questions, this is me, this is my email, this is my direct line. Feel free to contact me. I would be happy to set up a Zoom with you and with your student. I think that students should be part of the process, especially as they're entering these higher grades, and talk more specifics, answer your questions that you have about our program. Thank you.